I'm required to read the statute. Board of Appeals functions, well, first of all, press this button.
And microphone.
Mr. Thompson, you're going to act as our secretary?
Yes, sir.
You would do roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Alexander?
Here.
Mr. DeBartolomeo?
Here.
Mr. Ireland is excused. Trustee King is excused. Mr. Pearl?
Here.
Mr. Randlett?
Here.
Mr. Shackelford?
Here.
Mr. Nault?
Here.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda, need to entertain a motion?
So move. Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, motion carries. Now I get to read this. The Board of Appeals functions as a quasi-judiciary body with specific powers and limitations as outlined in the various sections of the zoning ordinance and the state statutes. The zoning ordinance sets the standards the board must use in reaching any decision. Once the decision of the board becomes final, only the courts can modify or reverse that decision. This board is not empowered to change the terms or intent of an ordinance. Therefore, you must petition the Township Board of Trustees if you wish to amend an ordinance. Before a variance can be granted, certain requirements must be satisfied. 1, practical difficulty must be demonstrated. 2, whether strict compliance with area, setbacks, frontage, height, bulk, or density would unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property for a permitted purpose or would render conformity unnecessarily burdensome. 3, whether a variance would do substantial justice to the petitioner as well as to other property owners in the district, or whether a lesser relaxation would give substantial relief and be more consistent with justice to others. 4, whether the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstance of the property. 5, whether the problem is self-created. 6, that the spirit of the ordinance is observed, public safety secured, and justice done. I would like to point out that we have some members not present. You're entitled to a hearing before a full board. Thank you. So, Mr. Secretary, you want to call the first one?
Yes. The first case is case 26-A7134. It is petitioned by Stephen R. Esty of Zosmer PC. It is a request to appeal the May 11th, 2026 decision of the Department of Planning and Community Development on ITC variance requests. There was no notices mailed out, none returned. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you want to give your name and address for the record?
Yeah, I'm Devin Sullivan. I'm a partner of Mr. Estes at Zausmer. He couldn't be here tonight. My address for these purposes would be our office, 32255 Northwestern Highway, Suite 225, Farmington Hills, Michigan.
Okay, as I explained, you have the option, if you want it to be heard before the board as it stands, or you can delay to the next meeting when the full board might be here. What's your
We'll
option?
proceed tonight.
You'll proceed? Okay, go ahead. You want to state your case?
Thank you. So I don't know how much of the background the board members are aware of. ITC has acquired a number of easements along the 19-mile road. The purpose of those easements is hopefully to eventually construct an electric transmission line along the property that will service the community, including the new hospital expansion. Those easements have already been acquired. The township has denied our special use permit application. That is currently on appeal to the circuit court, and at the same time, ITC is working towards filing with the Michigan Public Service Commission to potentially get approval of the project that route. Nothing here today has anything to do with the construction of the line, the approval of the line. That's not what we're seeking from this body. Instead, what we're seeking is for this body to hear our requests on behalf of the property owners for variances as a result of landscaping ordinances that they're not able to fully comply with as a result of the acquisition of the easements. So ITC has acquired some of these easements voluntarily and some of these easements through condemnation processes, and there are currently court cases pending over how much money those property owners will be paid for the easements that we acquired, because they're entitled to receive just compensation for the easement. And under the Uniform Condemnation Procedures Act, ITC is authorized to seek a variance on behalf of the property owner if the acquisition results in a nonconformity. So here the issue is that the easements that have been acquired by ITC give ITC the right to remove, destroy, control vegetation within the easement area. And as a result of that, the property owners aren't able to comply with the typical landscaping requirements that are in the ordinances. There's, a variety of different requirements in terms of the green belts and what has to be in there. And because those overlap with the easement areas, the property owners don't have the control over that they typically would. So they can't, if a tree falls down tomorrow, they can't go out and replant it because it would be prohibited by the easement. And so they're not able to comply with the ordinances. So what we're ultimately asking for in the variance requests, although as I understand it tonight, is just our appeal to have the body hear the variance request. But what we're ultimately requesting is a variance on behalf of these owners that excuses the owners from complying with those landscaping ordinances that they are no longer able to do as a result of the easement. I know one of the issues that the planning department has noted is that it's, I suppose, somewhat dependent upon whether or not we ultimately construct the project, whether or not the landowners will actually face all of these issues. I would say that certainly, if the ZBA does choose to hear the variance requests, you can impose some sort of conditional element to it where it kicks into effect should we construct the line and they ultimately have these issues. ITC has also proposed replacement landscaping that it would be comfortable with being in the easement area, and I think the body could also condition the variance on imposing that as an alternative requirement. But again, as I understand it, at least tonight, you're not actually hearing and making a decision on the variance request. You're only making a decision on whether or not we will actually be able to submit the variance request to you and have a hearing before this body.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who wants to speak on this issue before the board? No? Okay. Is it your understanding that the court has not reversed the special land use denial nor the township denial of the...
Yes, that's correct. That matter remains pending with the court. There's not yet been any decision on the merits of that appeal.
Okay. I would caution the board that the way I see it, and we'll ask our attorney who's present, verify that I think it's premature to issue to even talk about a variance because they don't have use of the property. There's no special land use, and there's no township approval.
Yep.
May I address that?
Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Board. Linda McGrail. I'm the Township Attorney for the Charter Township of Clinton. They are applying under MCL 213.54 subsection 2, which reads, if the acquisition of a portion of a parcel actually needed by an agency would leave the remainder of the parcel in nonconformity with a zoning ordinance, the agency may apply for a zoning variance. So that is a condition precedent that the acquisition of a portion of the parcel, and I again emphasize, actually needed. ITC has come before the board and asked for the special land use approval, which is through our essential services ordinance, and they were denied, and that is under appeal in front of the Macomb County Circuit Court Judge Sabaugh. They have also indicated that they're applying for approval through the MPSC, which would override the township's decision. But I will note that in the course of that process, they have offered two different alternate routes. One is down Delcoma Road, and one is along 19 Mile Road. So I think you're going to have a problem finding that the parcel is actually needed when even they themselves are arguing before the MPC two different routes that they may end up building on. It is true they have acquired the easements, but they have not acquired permission to build on those easements at this time.
Correct. Okay, is there anything else from the board? Go ahead.
Yeah, so as a member of the Planning Commission, they came in front of us in 2024. and it was a 4-4 tie, so basically it was denied for their project. So the site plan was not approved. They went to the Township Board, it was denied, and they've taken the route to appeal through the circuit court. The way this township, and I think we all are aware, the way this township operates is that if a project or a site plan is approved and need variances, then they come before us. Right now, they're coming before us without a site plan or a project. And I think it's putting the cart before the horse. And I don't think that we can see this through at this time. They're taking really 2 bites of the apple. They're going to the Macomb County Circuit Court to try to get approval, and if they don't get it there, they've got the MPSC trying to give them approval through a couple different routes. So I personally will vote this down tonight, saying that we can't make any type of variance approval, and I think we need to uphold what the Clinton Township administration has rendered as a ruling, saying that it's premature at this point.
Anyone else from the board? Any questions of the petitioner? Do you have
Can I-
any
can I
final
respond?
comments?
Yeah, so with respect to the language of the statute, the actually needed there is referring to the acquisition of a portion of a parcel of property. Through the condemnation action, it's been judicially determined that the easement is actually needed. And so I think that's triggered the statute. Whether or not the project is ever constructed is not relevant to whether, as odd as this may sound, it's not really relevant as to whether or not the parcel is considered to have been needed as far as the condemnation statute is concerned. And to the following point in terms of whether or not this is premature, I think the issue is that for the property owners, regardless of whether we ever get an approval to build on 19 Mile, the easements are on the property and they encumber the property. And so they're going to face this issue in terms of their ability to landscape within the easements, whether or not we build the transmission line, because the property rights have already been acquired and the property rights already limit what they can do in there. And so that's why we don't believe that it's premature, because it's not the construction of the line that will cause this issue. It's the property rights that we have acquired that limit what the property owner can do with their property.
But you know what's amazing, though, is when you came in front of the Planning Commission back in '24, you guys were willing to do landscaping and all that, and now you're withdrawing it. Now you want to withdraw it. So you know, and you're coming in front of us without even a site plan or a project, and you're just saying, let's just give us the variance on this. Yeah, you have eminent domain, but you have not seek approval for the project to be built. You've got eminent domain. We're all going to agree to that. But Circuit Court in Macomb has not given you approval to build on this project. Correct?
Agreed.
Right. So for you to come and ask for a variance is putting you're ahead of the game. Because the way we work here is that you have to come with the project, an approved project, to come to us for. How can we give it a variance when we don't know what the project is? Because the project could vary. Correct? Because with the MPSC, you're asking for 2 different routes. Correct? You're asking for an alternative route.
We have proposed a route. We are
Right.
required.
So you're asking for 2 different routes.
No.
Yes, you are.
That's not correct. We are required. We are required under the
I'm going to defer
statute.
to our counsel. Didn't you just say that they're asking for an
Yes,
alternative?
they've provided a primary route that is their preferred route, and they are required to submit an alternative
Yes.
route.
Thank you.
And that alternative route comes from Hall Road down Delcoma, back behind the
Right.
hospital.
Thank
But to be
you.
clear, we're not asking the commission for that route. We are asking the commission for the 19-mile route. We are required under the statute to propose an alternative route for them
Okay,
to
but you're still
prepare.
asking for 2. So they could come, right. So you're getting 2 bites at the apple. And then whatever, if any of those projects are approved, then you'll come back and ask for the variance.
So again, no, we won't.
Yes, you will.
No, because this variance isn't for us. It's not for ITC and the project. It's for the property owner. It's for their issue. If this gets denied tonight, we may appeal to the circuit court, we may go from there, but assuming we don't get these variances now, and we later on get an approval to construct the project on 19 Mile, we will never come back for another variance, because it's not for us, it's for the property.
So why are you here then at all?
because the property owners are going to be punished by this because they're going to be unable to comply with their site plans going forward and unable to comply with the zoning ordinance.
So all of a sudden, you're worried about the property owners?
We are always worried about the property
Really?
owners.
Okay.
But that's why we're here. We're here to seek the variance on behalf of the property owners.
But the landscaping's already there.
Yes, it's there today.
It would be removed only if you put the towers. It wouldn't be,
If a storm happens tomorrow and knocks a tree
But,
over, they can't
Mr.
put it
Pearl,
back up.
But back in '24, when they came in front of us, they said they were going to replace it all. You know, they were telling them, because we had a great, excuse me, we had quite a few people from 19 Mile from those condos there that were very concerned about this project, and most of it had to do with the towers and the wiring, but then also came into play was the landscaping, and the people from ITC said, you know what, said we're going to replace the landscape, and we're going to even do it better than what it was. Now, this was back in '24.
okay, obviously that's changed.
Yeah, it has.
Do you have any final comments?
So I'll do,
Mr. McGrail?
just for, go ahead.
No, just that, I do wonder if this is being done also because they're going to have to decide what the value of that property is to pay these landowners. And if they get a variance, that value of the property that they've obtained from these landowners may be valued less because they obtained these variances. So it may not be all,
I don't know the motive, but
yeah.
go ahead. Do you have a question?
So even, just for clarification aspects for us, my constituents, I understand eminent domain. I know you guys in 2024 went to the Planning Commission, but even for tonight, this is going back to the June 2nd of last year decision when it was denied by Bruce in regards to providing that variance application, correct? That's what we're here for
Yes.
tonight.
Correct.
And then Bruce, going back to what Ron mentioned, there was no approved site plan that was provided to you, correct?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, the June 2nd, 2025 decision was the board's decision to deny the request for special land use site development plan approval. That is not what they're here appealing today. What they're here appealing today is a letter from my department dated May 11th regarding an answer to their potential request for these variances that Mr. Sullivan is speaking of. So, yes, there's a June 2nd date, but that was the board's decision. That's not directly what caused Mr. Sullivan to be here. I know that may not be the right way to say it. It is the decision that was made by the administration through the Planning Community Development Department to say, no, you cannot request the variances. We feel it's the use of the property, not just having the easements that determine whether or not variances can be requested, similar to what Mr. DeMarco
Okay. If there's any other thing, I'll make a motion. Any other thoughts, feedback from the board?
Can we ask our attorney, what's the proper motion to deny the
Well, I
request?
mean, you guys get to decide the motion. It's not whether to approve the variance or not,
Right.
but whether to accept the application for the ZBA to make a
So the
ruling
proper
on the
motion would
variance.
be,
To uphold your decision. Correct.
to deny the
It's either a
request,
deny or accept the variance request.
Right. To
to
uphold,
deny or accept.
uphold his.
Yeah.
Not-
well,
Yeah,
okay.
to uphold
Yep.
the, I mean, there's a
Uphold.
variety of ways you could do it. You can make a motion to uphold the planning department's decision to reject these variance requests.
Okay.
You can make a
hear
motion
that.
to overrule his decision.
Okay.
Oh, don't worry, I read all 246 pages of the packet over a cup of coffee. So I motion to affirm the administrative decision. Bruce properly declined the transit of the very application because the underlying project was denied by the Township Board on June 2nd, making the request premature prior to site plan.
Okay.
And I'll
Sound good?
second that.
All right, motion made and second, discussion on the motion. So the motion is uphold the decision of the planning department to deny the applicant to come before us for a variance request. Okay, everyone understand? Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify, let's do roll call.
Mr. Alexander,
Votes yes.
Mr. DeBartolomeo,
Yes.
Mr. Pearl,
Yes.
Mr. Randlet,
Yes.
Mr. Shackelford,
Yes.
and Mr. Null.
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2, request for variance to construct an accessory building at 1,380 square feet Mr. Thompson?
Thank you. This is case number 26A7135, 36325 Fierz Street. Philip Fissler, it is a request for variance to construct an accessory building at 1,380 square feet. There were 55 notices mailed, only one returned. Thank you.
Is the petitioner here? Are you the petitioner? You want to give us your name and,
Phil
Address?
Fissler, 36325 Fierz Street in Clinton
okay, you
Township.
want to state your request for a variance?
To build a 1,380 square foot garage, which exceeds the square footage of the current zoning.
Okay. Do you have anything else? Do you have,
I guess if, yeah, my understanding, we're downsizing. We purchased a small home. We're getting close to retirement. My understanding when I read the accessory building structure code is I could have a garage up to 25% of the backyard area. After purchasing the property and talking to the building department, that was clarified to me that that is not one of the only rules for that. There's a B, C, and D there. And apparently D only occurs if A, B, and C are true. That's not the way I read that, but
so what's the size of your house now?
the house is just over 1,000 square foot.
How much?
1,000.
1,000. And your accessory buildings will be 1,380.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Is there any questions of the board, the applicant?
I make a motion to grant the variance due to practical difficulty exists due to the shape of the lot.
Is there support?
Second.
Discussion on the motion? No discussion? Okay. Roll call vote. By the way, what are you going to use it for?
It'll be for storage. I plan on doing some woodworking in retirement. I have several trailers and an extra automobile. I just like to keep everything inside and secure.
But no commercial work?
No, no commercial work at all.
Okay, is there, boy, that was a long, what was it about, what did you say, 40 pages? On the other,
216 pages.
on the other one?
Yep.
Okay, so there's no other discussion? Roll call vote?
Mr. Alexander?
Vote yes.
Mr. Randlet?
Yes.
Mr. DeBartolomeo?
Yes.
Mr. Pearl?
Yes.
Mr. Shackelford?
Yes.
Mr. Knoll?
Yes.
You're all set?
Thank you very
The
much.
bill,
luck to you.
it'll be sent to the building department tomorrow. Next item is,
Good luck, both of you.
So, can I ask one other question? So, relative to building department now, I can go there tomorrow?
I will be sending them confirmation of tonight's decision tomorrow. So give me a little time tomorrow.
Yep.
But yes,
No
you should be able to tomorrow later.
Super.
Okay?
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Take care.
take care. Public comments, is there anybody in the audience? Nope, I don't see anybody. Okay. Approval of the June 17th, 2026 meeting minutes. Has everybody read it?
Yep. So moved.
Any support? Okay, support. Support. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Discussion on the next meeting agenda for Wednesday, August 19th.
We will have a meeting. We just actually got a variance request in late this afternoon, so I don't have any details on it because the file hasn't been processed yet. I believe it's a detached garage, similar to this, so. So we
Okay.
will have one item.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Linda, thank you for being here tonight.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you.
Likewise.
Nice to meet you too.